Hi, this is Host Events, and this is our golden hour.
Oh God, what's going on? Where am I going? Dad?
Yes, my son. I am Deuce, the deer god.
I'm so confused. Who am I?
Derek. Your true name is Dercules.
Wait, what?
Yes. You are Dercules, the god of the forest. Season 5. Hosted by your favorite podcast host, Big Bochi. You already know the deal, mother. What's up? Both cameras rolling?
Yep.
Okay, before we begin, I have two pieces of information. One, hey everyone, this is Conor Holway from the Golden Hours podcast. And if you by chance get any sort of hashtag value from this episode, whether you laugh, you cry, you're entertained, or you get a little bit of information, you learn something, dude, just share it with a friend. And if you don't have any friends, you
Shouldn't be listening to podcasts.
definitely shouldn't be listening to any podcasts. Absolutely not. Get some friends. That's a fact. Also, I'm going to make my sales pitch right now to you two. I and the Golden Deer team with Big Fresh have a fat event here on January 17th. To be honest, we should probably stop pitching because I already got over like 53 companies coming. I've been sounding like a maniac. And honestly, what's weird is when you sell so much, you kind of start having this persona as a salesman. So like, I feel like I've been lying to people and stuff, but I haven't. But nonetheless, it's going to be great. It's called GDP Hustle. We have a bunch of Boston-based brands, startups, and companies coming. And you guys are a startup, so dude, come on. It's only $50, and you drink for free. Even though I know you guys probably do that anyway, right?
I like that.
Nonetheless, who else do we have in the room today?
Yo, Big Fresh checking in for another episode.
Big Fresh, man. I'm glad you're back.
Thank you.
We got to get in a rhythm, man. We haven't been rolling like we used to.
It's that new year. Got to get back into it.
New year, new goals.
Let's get it.
And then on my right, I've been very fascinated by the startup culture in Boston because, like, I mean, you roll your eyes like, oh my God, because you guys live it. But there are so many like crazy company ideas, and your ideas and like totally out there, but Boston's like this incubator of like all these different companies and concepts. And I'm sure, are you guys posted at the WeWork?
Yeah, we're at the 51 Melcher.
Okay, yeah, like the famous WeWork where there are tons of companies. We haven't really tapped into that on the show, so this is new for us. So thank you for coming. I want to say this right. It's Host Events Inc., right? You're incorporated?
That's correct.
I got my LLC. Whoa, business.
There we go.
Do you guys want to give a quick synopsis of who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I'm Michelle Carrazas. I'm the co-founder and CEO. And Host Events is essentially a digital platform where we connect corporate customers to certified insured bartenders. My day-to-day role is basically raising capital, hiring great talent, and essentially just moving the ship forward.
So you're the boss. Brian, what do you do, man?
My name is Brian McGill. I am the COO and co-founder of Host Events, Inc., and I am more on the back end side of things. So Michelle's out selling and raising and doing everything pertinent to the business to help grow. I am working with our internal team, making sure events are going off without a hitch, onboarding bartenders, supporting and marketing efforts, accounting efforts, just keeping the ship afloat as we continue to sail along.
So who came up with the idea? Because you had co-founders. Was it like together you guys were like, hey, let's do this thing?
Yeah, so I essentially, I was bartending nights and weekends after graduating from Syracuse.
In Boston?
Yeah, in Boston.
Whereabouts?
I worked for Big Night Entertainment. So,
No way.
Yeah, so I did like every venue possible.
Dude, I've been like harassing this dude, Randy Greenstein, because I want him to speak at the event. What they built is crazy.
It's insane.
Huge.
Yeah.
It got so big.
I know.
Like I see the billboards all the time.
Commercials.
Yeah.
Oh, they have commercials now too?
Yeah. Yeah, they
Are you ready for a big night?
Yeah, no, they've done an incredible job. I mean, I started when they were at the Estate and Gem, which are no longer around. But
That was the Emerson bar. Like, didn't they have like a little?
Yeah, right
With the
by-
two Kane brothers had some little dive bar, right?
Yeah. Well, it was more like a nightclub, but it really attracted kind of a different persona than it does today. So they've done a really great job, and they've been growing like crazy. So
have you recently been to any of the venues, like any of the new ones, like Memoir or?
So I haven't been to Memoir, but I have been to the Grand and some of the...
Grant's fat. It's dope.
It really,
I haven't been yet.
It really is.
So what bar were you at when you were bartending?
I did a lot of their private events, but I did Empire, the Estate, Gem. So I was like at all of their locations.
And then Brian, when do you come to Boston?
So I moved up here July 14th of this year. I was living in D.C. for the last 7 or 8 years, working down there. And then, when Michelle and I had come up with this idea, we were doing this part-time for, we were pen to paper at the end of 2017. We launched in the App Store May of 2018. And, we had one foot in the door for, a full year. And it got to a point where, we were doing it when we were waking up, doing it at work, doing it before we were going to bed. Obsessed, and just overwhelmed with stuff to do. And it just got to the point where we were like, hey, let's do this or get off the pot. Now, that's not the exact saying, but you know what I mean? Are we going to keep doing this half-assed, or are we going to jump in and do this full-time? And, we kind of use the term burn the ships, which is a really interesting story if you don't know what that saying means. And
it means like... the captain goes down with the ship, or am I brain dead? It means like go full speed at it, like don't look back.
So really back in the day, there was Spanish explorers, and I can't think of the guy's name right now, but they essentially came from Spain to South America, and when they landed, when they touched, they actually said, all right, everything off the ships, then we're burning them.
Don't look back. Don't
look back, because if we have a way back, we're gonna want to go back. We're here, we're committing to it. We're going to keep pushing forward no matter what. So I sold part of my company down in D.C., quit my full-time job to move up here, and haven't looked back.
So when did you guys first have the inception of the idea? Well, when did you first think it up, and then how long did it take to actually start the company?
So it was the end of 2017 where Brian and I had kind of talked about the idea. And the idea was really because I had customers that were coming to the bar asking me to bartend their corporate events. And so I started sharing with Brian what I was doing. And at the time, my brother was, working for Rover. And since the demand of the request kept going up, and I started using people that were in my network of bartenders and an Excel spreadsheet that really wasn't going to be working for the future, I started to talk to Brian. We both were in the entrepreneurship program at Syracuse. And so I was like, Brian, I have this crazy idea. And he knew I always had crazy ideas, and he would always shut them down. But I was like, I have this crazy idea. Why don't we do what Rover did for dog walkers for bartenders and corporate customers? And so that's kind of when we had the first initial conversation. And it was about June of 2017. And by the end, December of 2017, we really kind of launched the idea, incorporated, or actually became an LLC. We started as an LLC as well. And
what's the benefit to incorporate over an LLC? I have no idea how that tax stuff works. We had an accountant up here. I was like, dude, this is way over my head.
So I wish I would have learned a little bit earlier on. It's one of the things that, hey, knowing what I know now, if I went back, if you're looking to, now there's different benefits, right? And there's reasons why people are LLCs versus corporations. But if you want to raise capital, it's easier to be a corporation early on, just because a lot of investors, angel investors, and then, what will be, maybe VCs, they really like corporations for multiple reasons. They don't want a bunch of K1s, and there's a ton of reasons why. And so
you're attracting bigger money if you're incorporated for the most part.
It's much easier for everyone involved. And so
less liability. Am I right there? Big
no,
Fresh help out?
It's really tax purposes.
Yeah, it's just an easier process.
Yeah. And so honestly, we early on were like, okay, we're kind of small now. We can change because we know we're going to raise money just based on where we want to go and how quickly we want to get there. And so that's why we became a corporation.
So you guys had other entrepreneurial pursuits before starting this. Brian, you had a company in Maryland. To be honest, I did a little LinkedIn stalk, and you were doing like lacrosse or something down there.
Yeah.
Did you play lacrosse at Syracuse?
I did.
Damn, he must have been the man on campus, bro.
No, he was left bench.
Was not the man.
It's all good. I told all the girls at PC I was on the hockey team, so we're cool, bro.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I was down in DC my older brother and I, we both played lacrosse growing up, and I went to Syracuse, he went to Maryland, and then he ended up staying down there, and after I graduated, I went down to work with him. I actually started my career in structured settlement sales. So have you ever heard of J.G. Wentworth? Like those
Sounds riveting.
877 cash now commercials. I was doing smile and dialing for this company called Stone Street Capital, making like 150, 175 calls a day. It was tough. But
You were hustling.
trying to. And then my brother and I, we started a lacrosse club called Performance Sports Systems. We had an indoor training facility. We had a CrossFit gym out of there. We ran men's leagues, youth leagues, summer leagues, winter leagues. We had 13 travel lacrosse teams.
That's like the hotbed for lacrosse too, right down there?
Yeah, it's getting bigger. So the DC area wasn't really as big as it is now. It was more like the Baltimore area.
Okay.
But the DC area is starting to really take off and get a good little talent pool down there. And I mean, lacrosse in general is just starting to take off. But
If it was lucrative, would you have played pro? And could you have?
So I did play pro. I played
word.
for 5 years, both in the NLL and the MLL. I tore my ACL at the end of my career, and it was just not coming back from it. It wasn't enough money, and it sacrificed my full-time job because I worked on my feet for a long time, and I wasn't getting compensated for it. So
What was your day-to-day like if you're playing Pro Lax and then you have a full-time 40-hour-a-week job?
Yeah. So it was Monday through Friday, going to work, and then on my lunch breaks or after was getting training in. And then, if you played Saturday, they flew you out Friday right after work. You practiced Friday night, practice Saturday morning, play Saturday, fly home Sunday, and then back to work on Monday.
And do you get paid as a Pro Lax player?
Yeah. Yeah.
Word.
So you get paid per game if you play.
Cool.
It wasn't, some of those guys make pretty good money, but
Paul Rabel, I know he's the man, right?
yeah, I tell you what, talk about an entrepreneur. He's a smart guy. Very smart guy.
I know he closed a bunch of sponsors, and Warrior and stuff like that. It's big around here. Does he play for the Cannons? I'll be honest, I'm kind of tapped out of the whole thing.
So it's actually really interesting. He started a whole new league called the PLL, and it's exploding. He's got investors like Joe Tsai from Alibaba. Google has invested. Red Bull has invested. I think it's BlackRock Capital, I believe. They have a ton of they have a great sports staff, and him and his brother started it, and it's, in my opinion, it'll take over the MLL very shortly.
Is there a team in Portland? Because mind you, I grew up with a lot of kids. I went to Lincoln Sudbury Regional High School, and it's like huge lacrosse. They like always win the state championship and stuff. And so a lot of these kids end up playing at like Notre Dame and Johns Hopkins and stuff like that. Was Portland a team?
Portland.
Is there a professional team in Portland for the
There
PLL?
used to be in the NLL, the Indoor Lacrosse League. It was the Portland Lumberjacks, and then they moved to Vancouver.
Word, okay.
So, but there was never a pro MLL team or a PLL team out there.
When do you feel most washed up?
When I was at Everybody Fights this morning and I couldn't do 10 push-ups.
Oh, where were you guys in the Seaport?
Yeah.
That gym is so nice.
Yeah.
It really
It's
is.
bumping, I can tell you
It's in and
that.
out.
Well, everyone's New Year's resolution is kicking in, so it was pretty.
Yeah.
I'm sure. And the aesthetic is like so nice in that place with like the top light, like hitting the boxing ring.
Yeah, they've done an incredible job.
How important has fitness been to you guys in being productive entrepreneurially? Is it just like part of your routine at this point?
Yeah, I would say it's part of our routine, but I also would say it's kind of part of the chemistry of Brian and I. We were both athletes, right? And
You played at Syracuse too?
I didn't. No, I just played club soccer, but I was a huge club fanatic. And Brian and I, just the way that we work alongside each other, our work ethic, and how we rebound from losses, and how we kind of learn from every experience, I think is a little bit has to do with kind of our athletic mindset and being part of a team and learning to work with a team, and then being an individual contributor on and off the field, right? Where sometimes I think that those things, it's hard to learn those things later on in life. And I think we just learned those at such a young age that those same mechanisms of work ethic, collaboration.
And also just being competitive, because, I mean, you guys are competitive on a day-to-day basis now, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it lends, honestly, it's been kind of a great kind of segue for us and what we're looking to accomplish. And then, just complements our strengths and weaknesses kind of together as co-founders.
Do you guys get antsy if you don't work out?
I do.
I totally do. It's like terrible.
I sometimes do. I've been a little lazy lately, but my New Year's resolution is kicking in.
What's the resolution?
4 times a week. Just got to get in there.
A lift or just a workout?
A workout, anything. Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is you can, with any business, right? When you're so immersed in it like we are, it is so easy to get stuck. Not stuck, but just work. And all of a sudden, like, we get to the office like 7:30, 8 in the morning, and we look up and it's like 1:30. You're like, what the? Where's the time going? Mm-hmm. And then you put your head down, and then the events start rolling up because they start at like 4 or 5 o'clock, and you're monitoring deliveries, like just double checking with bartenders, making sure they're on their way. Just being ready for anything. And then all of a sudden you blink again, it's 8 p.m. You're like, oh my God, like I'm exhausted. I got to go home. You miss your workout for the day. It's a good way.
Sound like excuses, Brian.
I wish it was. It's tough, and then you just got to find time to do it. In the morning or at night, and it does become mental at some point. But it's nice to get out and get away from the computer screen and throw some things around and have some fun. Yeah.
What is your screen time looking like? Oh. Don't even say, mine is terrible.
Well, mine's not as bad as Brian's probably, just because I'm out meeting with people. Like, I'm such a people person, and I like to be in front of people. My favorite saying is your network is your net worth. So I try and meet anyone and everyone that I can. Any connection, no connection for me is a bad connection. And so I'm out really, in the field, selling Host, being the face of Host, meeting with, potential investors, to meeting with potential customers, and really
You're building a biz.
Yeah. So I have probably a little bit less time than Brian does, because Brian's really managing everything else from the day-to-day to making sure.
What's it looking like, Bri, on your phone? Do you know?
My phone's not bad. It's my computer that's tough.
Dude, my phone this summer was 10 hours and 30 minutes at one point. Day? And I was like, what am I doing with myself? It's because we push out a ton of content. So it's like you're constantly on like social platforms pushing out content. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you guys have a content strategy for this year? I saw you had a nice lengthy LinkedIn post. It was like the LinkedIn essay. I liked it.
I hadn't posted a LinkedIn kind of, post in a really long time. So I was kind of really reflecting on the past year, because it really has been extremely transformative. I mean, a lot has happened for us and Host, and personally and professionally, and I felt like, hey, kind of my network of people really need to know, where I am mentally and what I'm appreciative for. And there were a lot of people I wanted to tag in that, but it only gives you so many characters. Because, I mean, really, there are some very instrumental people that have helped us along the way and have continued to help us, and are really the most exciting part of the journey, in my opinion.
So let's just segue real quick back to exactly what Host is and what you guys do. Can you just give someone elaborate on it? I know, but people listening and watching don't just yet.
Yeah, so Host is a digital platform where we connect corporate customers to certified insured bartenders. And so typically corporate companies have to, figure out insurance processes, and then they also have to identify talent of bartenders. And obviously for an office manager or facilities manager or marketing manager, that's not really their job and their job duties. And so they're always looking for a great source to help fill this void. So now more and more corporate companies are holding, happy hours on a Friday or Wind Down Wednesday on a Wednesday.
Corporate people love getting smacked.
Yeah.
They do.
It builds culture.
Absolutely.
Community.
Yeah.
I mean,
People are requiring it as part of a way to take a job. I mean, if you look at millennials, 61% of millennials will say they will take a job based on perks. So perks,
absolutely.
yeah. I mean, if you don't have beer on tap anymore, it's like you're not cool.
Well, where I learned it most was actually pitching this event. So mind you, I've thrown a bunch of events in the city. I threw a big concert once where I hand sold like hundreds and hundreds of tickets. This has been the easiest pitch because of the demographic, because people who work in professional settings love getting smacked more than anybody else I know.
Yeah.
So was there a moment when you were bartending where it was like, whoa, like I could totally, there's an opening in the market here to make this happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was really based on the requests that I was getting. And that was, when I started to interview the office managers that were requesting of like my services, I was like, well, what do you guys currently do? What does the process look like? Why is it so cumbersome? And, based on that detail and, just doing some market research, that's when the opportunity really started to kind of come to fruition. We were like, wow, like there is no easy way. Companies like Thumbtack are really great, but they don't provide insurance and they don't vet and select anyone on the
That's
platform.
the competition is Thumbtack.
Yeah, so there
We
are
hate those guys, right?
No, competition's good.
great.
Competition's great. It keeps you honest. It keeps you always innovative. It also, it shows that there's a demand for something, right? So we like competition. We're, former athletes. We love to compete. How would we know if we're doing something well if there's no competition? And so. I think that those things are what set us apart a little bit, is that we vet and select every single bartender to the platform.
I was going to say, how do you choose your bartenders?
Yeah, so we do a couple of things.
Can I just simplify something real quick? So what you guys do is you have an app, correct? And then a corporate, let's say PwC is like, hey, we're throwing a little mixer after work. We need to have a bartender here to serve us our booze. So they go on host and they click it. They say, hey, host, dude, we have a mixer after this with like 50 accountants. Can you guys come and serve? And then you guys would say 100% use the app. That's how it works, right?
Exactly.
Got it. Big Fresh, that makes sense?
Keep it simple.
Big Fresh, your company could use something like this, right?
That's the thing is I work for like a health care like communications company, and I don't know what happened, but like a couple of years ago they must have had a bad experience because they're very like uneasy about like alcohol at like company events. So
Yeah.
maybe it might not
What
be right
happened?
for our. I have no clue.
Nancy got too smacked.
Maybe, dude. I don't know. That was before my time there, so I have no clue.
Oh,
Yeah,
so,
it's
so
all-
you couldn't get drunk at the Christmas party?
I mean, I could, but like
Well, you
they-
came here loose.
yeah. So they give you like drink tickets, and it's like like max
a certain
2 per
amount.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
but like I finessed a couple
Boring.
extra tickets, so it's fine.
Okay, so sorry to cut you off, but continue. I
Yeah.
forget where we were at.
So I think the big thing that a lot of our current clients, we're just, the goal for Host was to make it easier for both parties, right? So we are a dual-sided marketplace where, we kind of get lost really talking about the event hosts and, kind of the solutions that we've come up with to make their lives easier with just, knowing that they can come to this platform and find a quality, personable, energetic bartender to come to their event, but we also provide all the general liquor liability insurance for that event, right? And that's a process, as Michelle mentioned earlier, in itself that is cumbersome. It takes a lot of time, and if you don't do it 2-3 weeks before your event, you might not get that policy, and it's an extra $325, $350 just for one day. We provide it for all of our events, so that's a big component as well. But the other side of it is, as we were starting to segment into, is the bartenders.
Yeah, so how do you choose good bartenders?
Yeah, so I mean, we actually have a rock star named Amy, who was actually our third bartender that we onboarded through Host here in Boston. She is an absolute champion for us.
Shout out to Amy.
Shout out to Amy.
Yeah, huge shout out to Amy.
We brought her on in September. Michelle and I went full time in July. We brought Amy on in September, and she has been in charge of the bartender onboarding because she's really, in the beginning, Michelle was doing a lot of the events, but Amy was doing most of the events. So she really knows like that details the ins and outs of getting there, parking, what it feels like when things are late, on time, early, you know, this is going one way, this is going the other. So she's been through all of those scenarios, and she can really understand from that perspective what to look for in an oncoming bartender. So what we do is, you know, when a bartender wants to join host, we don't just grant them access to the platform right away. You know, they have to, they have to upload a government ID. They have to pass a background check, which is done by a third party. They do upload a work history or a resume, and then we do an interview. We have to make sure they're alcohol training certified, so they have to upload their state-specific alcohol training certification.
Is this tough, though, because you guys want to scale the company and the more bartenders, the better? Like, is it tough turning people down who want to work for you?
No, I mean, to be honest,
You're cold.
No, we're really looking for the best talent. We think the best talent should be rewarded. There are a lot of bartenders that are super type A, right? They're working typically at their bar. The best are working Thursday through Sunday, right? We're corporate. We get events Monday through Thursday, right? So why not, as a great bartender, when you have so much to offer, you have a great personality, you love connecting with people, you're money hungry, make an extra, side, have this be your side hustle.
Oh, so a lot of them use it as a second job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're 1099 with us, and they're W-2s with their restaurant or venue that they work at. And so it's really great because we partner with the bars, because their best talent wants to work usually like Monday through Thursday, pick up some extra shifts, make a couple $100 extra. Plus, we're guaranteed earnings. So bartenders typically make $2.50 to $3 an hour wherever they're working, and the rest is really tips. So it's really dependent on who walks into the restaurant or venue is really predicting how much money they're going to make.
How many bartenders do you have on now?
Right now, approved bartenders here in Boston, we're at about 205.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Here in Boston.
Good
Yeah.
for you guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you have turned down a plethora of people?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What's like the worst resume you've seen?
It's not really based on just the resume, to be honest. I mean, we're really looking for, not just ability to do the job. We're really looking for someone that adds to the experience, someone that's truly excited, personable, and that will just elevate the occasion, right?
I might be brain dead, but that just seems like there are not many bartenders in my experience that have been exactly the way you're describing. Or how do you pick talent like that?
Sounds like you're going to the wrong bars.
Well, I don't really drink, so maybe that's it.
No, I think there's a little bit of a balance of everything. If you've met Amy, she is just the light of every room. When she's present. There's not a single person I know that doesn't enjoy her company. She really just knows how to identify really great talent, and then people that have great potential too. And so we've been fortunate to have hired such an integral part to our team that really just knows what we're looking for. And, our customers are looking for a certain type of professionalism too. They're coming into their office, right? This has to be someone that really fits in with their culture. We get a lot of requests. We do Dropbox every Friday. And they really think of our bartender, Ian, as part of their team.
Dropbox, the company?
Yeah.
They have an office in Boston?
It's in New York City.
Yeah.
Oh, so you guys are in other cities now too?
Yeah, so we do.
Let's go. You guys are growing this. Let's do it. This is awesome.
Getting there.
Yeah,
Getting there.
slowly but surely, we're getting there, and we're certainly growing, which is exciting.
Quick segue though. You guys are up here talking very composed. I think we all know that the sport of entrepreneurship is not always clean. What has been some of the most desperate moments you guys have had recently? Because that shit happens on a day-to-day.
Yeah.
For instance, mind you, we're running a show in the back of a warehouse right now, right? But I came in here and it was just chaos. I get it. And I was like, oh my God, I got to make sure everything's right for the episode.
Yeah.
Have you guys had any big slip ups recently or?
I got one.
Yeah.
We had, so this past December is one of our best month to date. The combination of us going full time and, throwing out some marketing dollars and it being the holidays, it was a crazy month for us. And, I think it was December 12th. it was December 12th. We had about 25, 30 events going that day between two cities. We had, I think it was 45 bartenders in the field. And luckily, but unluckily, 3 of the events that we had here in Boston were pretty close to each other. And 3 events were late on ice. The ice was either missing, there wasn't enough, or it was late. And I literally ran from our WeWork at 4 Point, sprinted to the events, to the local CVS.
Luckily, it was the Boston events.
Yeah, luckily. Walked, 10 5-pound bags of ice to one event, went back to the store.
With those lacrosse pipes,
picked
let's
it
go.
up, walked to another event, and then finally, luckily, Michelle was able to come pick me up, and we picked up another load of ice to the next event. It all went fine, but those are the things that kind of go on behind the scene when you think of, we would bend over backwards for our customers to make sure that they are having the best experience possible. And when I say our customers, I mean not just our event hosts and their patrons, but our bartenders as well. Because if you're behind the bar with no ice, you're basically bartending with your pants down. That's and we don't want to put them in that situation. So I have no problem doing that for them and running now, do I want to do that? No. But I absolutely have no problem doing it for them, for this company and for them whatsoever.
Were you like totally panicked when this was going on?
She wasn't. I was freaking out.
Yeah.
See, my thing is like a lot of people when they build companies, like you start to get to a point where you control everything, and it's nice because it's reassuring because you know what to do with your job. But when you guys are having events in other cities, there's a little bit of risk there where you're like, dude, I can't oversee everything that's going on. Is that scary?
Yes and no. I think that when you're growing, you have to know that, not everything is going to always be perfect. And we try so hard. I mean, we care about every detail to every single event. Like Brian said, like we care so much. And, at some point when you scale, you have to learn to let go a little bit and let things happen organically.
Who's your mentor? Like who's taught you a lot of this stuff?
I have a lot of mentors. Brian will probably tell you that. I have mentors for different aspects. Like I really do go to different people for different things. Like, Craig Powell at Modus. I mean, he's the CEO of Modus. He took a really, a vested interest in me and just teaching me small things, always backing me as a champion. And then I have other mentors, that I utilize for the business specifically, like what is the strategy here? How do we take this data and apply that data to grow the business? And how do we make data-driven decisions? And then, I have someone that's really from like a development standpoint, because like you just need different personalities and different people with different experience to give you insight at different components of the business.
But there was no like central figure that you're like, hey, I'm about to start this company. Like this is what we're going to use as a model.
Not.
You guys like studying how Uber did it?
Yeah, I mean, we looked at Uber, we looked at Rover, we looked at similar concepts.
What is Rover's the dog walking app?
Yeah.
You have the app, Big Fresh? I just downloaded Host like 2 days ago. I got you guys. Let's go. Let's get you guys
I don't have
ranked.
Rover, but I know some friends who make like money during the summer doing that. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Quick segue. So Big Fresh is an app developer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Any app questions for the team?
It's not like a technical. Well, it is like a technical question, but so can you guys kind of just talk about, because you mentioned like you were monitoring like deliveries like on day of events and things like that. So can you kind of go step by step like on both the bartender's end, the client's end, and also your end, like what kind of goes on when someone books an event to when that event is kind of done and that order is fulfilled?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 2 journeys, right? So when an event order comes in, it's either coming in through the host app itself or it's coming in through our website. When it comes in through the host app, it's at its most simple, where the event host will just log on to the app. They will post the event with the details, date, time, duration, location. That event will then be posted to the open events tab for all the bartenders to see. They'll receive a notification, hey, a new event has been posted in your area. Feel free to apply. They can then go into the host app, look at the event, say, okay, this fits my schedule. I know how much I'm making. I know what's being served. I know how long it is. Any special requests? Okay, got it. I can work this event. I'm interested. Now,
Boom, done.
From there, it'll show them that, bartender Amy is interested in working your event, and the event host can then come back and look through bio, ratings, reviews, pictures from all the bartenders that have applied, and then pick as many as they've requested, whether it's 1, 2, or 3. And then from there, the event gets moved into our upcoming events or staffed events tab, which then the bartenders can look at and make sure that they have adjusted with their calendar. They could chat with the event host currently in there with any specific questions. And then once the event is completed, it gets moved to their history where they could rate each other back and forth.
Who developed the app?
Yeah, so we just used a third party to help us build it out in the beginning.
In India? China?
Ukraine, actually.
Whoa.
Yeah, and we learned a lot. A lot. It was my first sprint.
Do you know what software you were using?
We were using a couple different ones.
What do you use, Big Fresh?
For iOS, it's like Swift.
Yeah, we were using
Yeah.
Swift and Hockey app.
So do you guys have like a dashboard on the back end to kind of track everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have a super admin panel. Well, it's not very super, but it's basic right now. That just pulls all the data that we collect in a fashion that we want to see it to keep track of things. But our initial build up, this is actually one of our big 2020 resolutions or projects, is we're building out a brand new full functioning web application, which will have responsive iOS and Android applications as well. So when we first built the app, we thought just like Uber, everyone's going to use the app to do everything. But we've learned that the event hosts, 95% of our event hosts our events come in through our website. And
Why is that? It's like interesting.
well, when we first started the company, I don't think we knew our demographic was going to be corporate right off the bat. We were just thinking events, and then
Let's just close some events. Yeah.
It makes sense when you're looking for a bartender and you don't really know of a company, you Google it, right? So a lot of our research results were browser oriented, not app oriented. So 60-70% of our users were coming in through the phone, just not through the app.
So you're going to have to get host to like a brand identity standpoint where everyone knows it, like Uber, for everybody to use the app consistently.
Yeah. And the other thing is like office managers is our persona, our person that we're really selling to. Now every company's so different, but office managers, where are they? They're sitting in front of their desktop every single day, right? They're not sitting on their phone really. So for them, it's easier. Okay, this is another thing that I have to do. I'm already on my computer. Let me open up the website. So
Real quick, you are totally cool to put on your jacket if you want, because I know it's freezing in here. I
Oh,
feel
no,
bad.
it's fine.
So, are you okay,
worry.
Big Fresh?
I was
Yeah,
just in
I'm good,
Ecuador
yeah.
and it was really warm.
I was gonna
there.
say you're mad tan.
Yeah, no, I just I went to go see my family, so I try and go see them once a year.
They're Spanish.
Yeah, we're Bolivian. Yeah.
¿Hablas?
Yeah.
Yo
hablo.
hablo un poquito. Yo estaba a la tienda de pelo corto en el pueblo de Waltham
Okay.
y mi barbero es dominicano. So todos los tiempos fui a la tienda y yo aprendí una nueva palabra.
Hablas muy bien por aprender por tu barbero.
Sí, y estudia en la tienda. You following?
Big Fresh, did you get that?
I got some of it.
Well, we met at the
Yeah.
barber shop. That's where we met.
and hablo.
Well, what I'll do now is I'll just like anyone who I hear speaking Spanish, I'll just go up to them and like try to learn a new word.
Yeah, pick
That's the
something
best.
up.
Honestly, that's the best way to learn.
So you came here from Bolivia?
Yeah, so I was born in Bolivia,
Whoa.
and then I grew up overseas my whole life. My parents, every 3 years, my parents would like station somewhere else. So,
Are they military?
no, my mom is the director of the Peace Corps, and my dad's an HIV/AIDS specialist. So
Whoa.
we just, really didn't have a purpose as much in the States as we did in third world countries.
So what does the director of the Peace Corps do? Like just make sure everyone's like nice to each other?
No, so she's now leaving Panama, and she's going to Botswana, and essentially she just really brings together all of the volunteers and make sure that their project that they're working on.
She's an organizer.
Yeah. She's very passionate about it, and she does a really good job, and make sure that the projects are going off without a hitch, and that the communities that they're servicing are seeing the impact that they're supposed to be seeing. And she will go to the sites. She was a volunteer 35 years ago. So
Whoa.
yeah.
What do your parents do, Brian?
So my father owns a small wholesale food distributor company out of New Jersey. That's where I grew up. And my mom is a business analyst for ConocoPhillips.
So you knew growing up you were probably going to get into business.
Yeah.
Did you know you had no interest in doing what your parents were doing?
I enjoyed different parts of what they do. My mother works for ConocoPhillips is a very big company.
What do they do?
So they're a refinery. She works at the refinery in Linden, and she's the business analyst. She's the one that's doing all of the budgeting and new reports. And every 10 years they have to do this big turnover at each refinery, and she's kind of in charge of that. And I saw what she enjoys in that and what she doesn't, working for a bigger company like that. And then I saw with my father's company where I would work every summer since I was in 6th grade and all the way until after college, where it was just very, very, very small. It was very relationship based.
So what, distributing to grocery stores or? So
mainly restaurants, bars, little leagues, high schools for football games and stuff like that. So vegetables, fruits. Yeah, vegetables, fruits, mainly fried foods, turkeys, hams, eggs, bacon.
Wow.
Condiments stuff. But all stuff that you'd go to BJ's and get, right? The bulk stuff.
Is that where you get your obsession with bacon?
Bacon, Taylor ham. Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
He's obsessed with bacon.
Bacon.
I love bacon.
Are you keto?
Obsessed.
I used to be.
Dude, how'd you do it? It was impossible.
I
was eating butter smoothies. It was nasty.
I did it for a year and I lost 25 pounds.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
So you were in ketosis
and then
for real.
I stopped and put on 30 in 4 months. So things are good.
The pendulum.
Yeah.
Big Fresh, how's your vegan ventures? Short-lived.
No, I'm not. I've reached the conclusion that I'm not a strict vegetarian, but I think maybe once or twice a week, getting meat in your system is pretty good. I think, but
we have no clue.
Yeah. But I mean, at the moment, it
Game
feels
Changers?
good. So
No.
I haven't, but I heard the Joe Rogan podcast on it.
Did you see the debate?
I heard the debate, or I've heard about it.
You're stupid, man. You're stupid.
Basically, potentially debunking the whole documentary, right?
There was a debate. They had a podcast. It's just interesting, but I sometimes question how can we really analyze diet and its effect on someone's health if we've only been doing effective studies for 50 years? It hasn't even lasted a whole lifetime. So we won't really know until we're old what's actually an effective diet.
Yeah. The way I think one analogy that most resonated with me was have you guys watched, I think it's The Magic Pill on Netflix?
Mm-mm.
So it's all about the ketosis diet and it's fantastic. They used an analogy that makes so much sense to me. I mean, we've been on this planet as humans for however long, hundreds of thousands of years. Our bodies have evolutionized over time where the way we're eating now is only a sliver of a fraction of how we've been eating for the last however long we've been on this planet. So our body's evolution in certain ways. They said that our cells, the outside, have a membrane. You think about it as a screen door, right? The outside membrane of the cell that protects it is a screen door, what lets it in and what lets stuff out. Well, if you throw water at a screen door, it goes right through it, right? We've been drinking water and natural foods for however long. Then if you think of processed foods or just shit that's not natural, and think of that as laundry detergent, and then throw that at the screen door. Half of it gets stuck, right? It doesn't go through. So our cells are not getting the appropriate nutrition that they need fully because it's not able to process and let that type of stuff in. And that's why like our cells are dying off.
How does that correlate to the ketosis diet, though?
So the ketosis diet is all about eating like natural
Fats.
stuff that we've been eating forever. Yeah.
But that's also paleo. But I thought keto was like very high fat, right?
Very high fat. Yeah. So like when you think of like,
But isn't
you know,
it
you're-
only certain hours?
That's
no, that's
fasting.
intermittent fasting.
That's what I
The
do.
other one you did.
Yeah, you don't need to what, like one?
I am an extreme case. I'm a little anal about my diet, so
Are you?
yeah, I do like a 21-hour fast daily.
What?
I do, yeah. I eat in like a 3-hour window.
Really?
Dude, we got to be productive, right?
That's right.
But when?
So last night I ate from about 4:30 to 7 o'clock.
And that's it?
That's it.
Just eat whatever you want.
And
much as
every
you
day?
want.
No,
different?
we eat healthy, man. Say it again.
Is it different every day?
I try to do at least 19 hours daily. Like at least. If I can push it to 22, I'm feeling it. And then if you go 24, you're like, whoa, I'm totally delusional.
I'm starving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just I've adapted, but I've been fasting for like 3 years. So like you work up to a certain point where your body adapts to it.
Yeah.
You guys should try fasting.
I love
think
food way too much.
you'll be mad productive though when you're in your fasting window.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need food to fuel my brain.
I think it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Don't you, Big Fresh? It's just
Yeah, because like especially like with like certain things like carbs, like after I eat it, I just feel like brain dead.
Yeah.
But
well,
then
what
like,
type of carbs? Like refined sugars?
like honestly, even like breads and like pastas, like
That
just,
shit
like,
will fuck your whole
yeah.
day up.
Yeah. But then now like just strictly eating like vegetables and like maybe like some light like quinoa or like whatever. Like I feel just so much more like awake throughout the whole day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like now, like before, I was kind of crashing towards the end of the day. You know.
You're not getting that gluten, right? Gluten like makes you crash.
I
Is that
don't know. I think that's what
glucose.
is it?
I got no idea.
It is. Yeah, something with the carbs. Yeah.
Know what's a hitting right next to that WeWork though? Is that Be Good? You guys going to Be Good ever?
Yeah. Well,
She
I
does.
like Be Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dope, isn't
It's
it?
good. It's so good.
No, what's
We
popping
don't-
up there a lot too is these Cafe Neros I keep seeing into the
They're all
seaport.
over the place.
They're
now.
everywhere.
Yeah.
But there's what's the one we not kava, but the other one.
Oh, Dig.
Dig. Oh, that
Dig.
protein
I
bowl from
dig.
Dig, right?
I dig
is
Dig.
fantastic.
It is so
Fire.
good. Yeah.
It's right next to the hotel right there, right? Across from Trader Joe's.
Yes.
I'm
Yep.
in that neighborhood, man. I got business over there. I know where you guys are
I
at.
got business.
Yeah.
It's actually a good segue because we kind of got to wrap soon. Can you kind of talk about the benefit to starting a company in Boston and the startup ecosystem here?
Oh, Michelle was waiting for that question.
I got you, Michelle.
Yeah, no. I didn't really know what to expect about the ecosystem itself. You know, you think of Silicon Valley and you're like, wow, that's really the startup mecca. That's the startup scene. And I've, now being a part of the ecosystem in Boston, I think it's one of the best places to start a business for multiple reasons.
Especially
I
having
mean,
corporate clients.
Exactly. Not only that, but from, our bank to our lawyers to, other founders, they are all people that are working for us and with us on a daily basis. Like our bank put together, a dinner for founders and marketplaces. I can't tell you how many connections I made through that, how valuable it was. And, just the thought of doing that. And then our lawyers constantly connecting us with customers and, just around the clock there for us, helping us close this round, introducing us to potential investors, and just the investors and angel investors and VCs that are here in Boston are always willing to take a meeting and or give you feedback. And if they're not interested in investing in your type of business,
They'll connect you with someone, yeah.
they'll connect you with someone else. And I mean, other founders just taking the time to give me, 20 minutes of their time and, help me with something that we're challenged with. It's just, I have never had anyone say no. Like every single person that I've emailed to ask for 20 minutes or to join our board has always said yes. Even if it was like, hey, I can't within the month because I'm like slammed. Every single person has been responsive. And I think that for us as, first-time true founders in an ecosystem, starting a platform that we can't develop, from like a technical standpoint, we needed all of those resources to help build our confidence in being able to move the ship forward. And
You think it gives you a backbone?
absolutely.
Really?
100%.
Yeah.
See, I would imagine it being competitive though. Like, mind you, I'm not really in the startup ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, what we got going on over here is like, we're kind of like people of the people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of tucked away from the whole startup scene. But I imagine that they're just like throwing fists over there.
You'd think, and it's really not. I mean, WeWork has been a fantastic catalyst for growth for us. I mean, whether it's, their whole thing is to, build community within their space, and that's our vision, right? Is to build community through every experience that we service. And it aligns so well because they want to keep bringing people together. When they bring people together, that's when new ideas are formed. That's when bonds are made. That's when, when you're thinking about renewing your lease, you're like, oh, but I made so many good friends here, and like the company's here, like we're all working together. Like, let's do another year here, and then we'll look at a new space, rather than like, I have no allegiance here. Like, let's go somewhere else.
Yeah.
$10 cheaper down the street. Like, let's go. That's one of the biggest differences. But to kind of circle back on what you said about, isn't it competitive? It is competitive, but it's also super supportive. And I think that is one of the beauties about Boston is I used to live in DC, and DC is, everyone's a transplant. You never meet anybody that's from DC. They're always from Maryland, Virginia, or here trying to be in politics, whatever the case is. And the question that you always get when you meet someone else is, what do you do? Every time. Hey, I'm Brian.
It's all good. Don't worry about it.
The drums.
We're good to go.
Guitar. Hey, I'm Brian. What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. And the first thing they always ask is, what do you do?
This is in DC.
This is in DC. What do you do? And it's never like, where are you from? Like, do you live local? Have you been here before? It's always, what do you do? And as soon as you say something that's not relevant to them, they're gone.
Brian, I got to be honest with you. You might be one of the first people to ever say that people in Boston are somewhat friendly.
Right? That's what everyone. That's what everyone tells me. And I honestly,
You think people here are nice? Have you been to LA?
I've never met a person here that hasn't given me like a few moments of their time. I think the world of Boston as a city.
I'll knock on wood for you, man.
I think there is a lot of Boston pride, and it's a lot of like local pride, but it's local in a sense that you're willing to help the people that are here.
And it's the ecosystem. It's really the ecosystem because people in Boston, they really want it to be this Boston strong community. They want you to succeed. They want you to do well because it builds that morale. It builds confidence in other people starting businesses here.
Well, yeah.
And their property value goes up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that we started the show out. We had a lot of artists and entertainers on the show, and there's no real market for. Is that me? Who is it?
It's just a number.
Oh shoot, they're probably here. We got to wrap this real soon. But there's a community here of like big finance heads and like a lot, like it's a great place for business. Is there going to be an oversaturation at some point in the startup market, do you think? Or like Seaport's like its whole new city, so like.
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever really be oversaturated. I think that we're just in the beginning stages.
Starting.
Yeah, like we're just in the beginning, and other founders are putting their left foot forward and their right foot forward to help young founders learn what they didn't know and accelerate growth much quicker and, be a champion for them, be a mentor, give them a little bit of guidance. And I think that that's just beginning. And there's a great group of, very successful founders that are looking to give back to other founders. And I think that we will start to see more and more of that as the ecosystem continues to evolve.
What a way to end it. All right, well, listen, real quick. I just have to open the door for someone, so we're just going to have to end. But I had a great time. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
This is how we start and end the episode. You ready for this? You have to say, hi, your name. I'd collaborate on this. And this is my golden hour, or our golden hour. So I say, hi, Michelle. Hey, Brian. We're from host. This is our golden hour. Then directly after, no break in between these two sentences, hi, I'm Brian. I'm Michelle. And that was our golden hour. So this is for the first one, then that was. And I'm not going to tell you again.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Do we say it at the same time or different times?
Hey, man, I can't tell you. I got no idea.
All right, I'll go first. Hi, this is Michelle Carrazas, and this is our golden hour. Hi, this is Michelle Carrazas, and that was our golden hour.
Hi, this is Brian McGill, and this is my golden hour. Hi, my name is Brian McGill, and that was my golden hour.
So a little unconventional. Big Freshman will take it, right?
Let's do another one where you guys kind of work together,
Okay.
collaborate, and then
I'm
just
gonna be honest.
mention host.
Let's
as
just
well.
say
Nobody
hi,
ever
this
gets
is
this
host
right.
events, and this is our golden hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hi, this is host events, and this is our golden hour.
Nice.
Hi, this is our host events, and that was our golden hour.
That's well executed, right?
We'll take it.
All right, cut that. I'm going to open the door. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I said your name and host events at the same time.
Hey, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.